Imagine a man who lived happily in his town, enjoying his everyday routine. But one day, he saw something surprising in his backyard that completely changed his life. The story begins in a small town, surrounded by rugged mountains and filled with wild animals. In this natural setting lived a man named Henry, a farmer who spent his life taming the wild land of his farm. Henry faced loneliness since his wife had passed away, and his children were away for education. Despite the difficulties, Henry worked hard to make a safe place for his children's future. Little did he know that his everyday life was about to become exciting, and he would form a deep connection with the free-roaming creatures around him. One day, Henry went to visit his wife's grave and saw something strange happening on the edge of his farm. He noticed some men with vehicles doing secretive things on his land, not realizing that he was watching them. Curious and worried, Henry hid and checked it out. Sadly, he found a group of cruel people capturing a beautiful leopard and her little cubs. These men were only interested in making money and didn't care about the animals. Feeling a strong sense of responsibility, Henry gathered his courage and confronted the men with his shotgun to protect the endangered leopard family. He surprised them by firing a shot into the air, giving him a chance to step in and stop them physically. Suddenly, the mother leopard also jumped up and started to help him attack the men. Henry fought bravely to save the animals, and surprisingly, the mother leopard sensed that he was there to help. Together, they managed to drive away the heartless men, leaving the wild family hurt but alive. But when he turned back to the leopard, Henry understood that the situation was very serious. The mother leopard was hurt because she protected her cubs. Henry was determined to make sure her sacrifice wasn't for nothing. So, he carefully brought the injured leopard and her babies to his farm. With a strong commitment, he took care of the mother leopard, creating a safe place for the whole leopard family. As a way of saying thank you, the leopards, who now lived regularly on Henry's farm, became a symbol of an unusual friendship between a man and wild animals. But Henry was careful not to disturb their natural instincts. He let the leopards move freely, making sure they kept their abilities to survive in the wild. As time went on, the leopard cubs grew up and went off into the wild to find their own places to live. But their mother, who Henry started calling Wozie, stayed nearby. They formed a special connection, a silent understanding that went beyond the differences between humans and animals. While taking care of the leopards, Henry also worked on his farm. He cleared land for growing crops, made areas for his domestic animals, and kept spaces for the wild creatures. However, a problem came up when Henry decided to bring sheep to his farm. At first, Henry was slightly worried that Wozie would see them as prey, but she never caught any of them. Eventually, they had eaten all of the good grazing plants close to home, and there was nothing more for them to eat. That was when Henry had to move them further away to the other pastures that he had prepared. These were a lot farther from his home. Henry had hoped to have a sheepdog to protect his sheep, but he couldn't find one in his area. This meant his sheep were alone and vulnerable, too far for Henry to watch over. He was worried about dangers from other animals and even humans trying to steal them. To keep them safe, Henry decided to camp near the pasture, sacrificing his comfort. As night fell, he noticed shadowy figures passing by his tent. Realizing they were cheetahs stalking his sheep, Henry grabbed his rifle, hoping to scare them away with a loud shot. However, there were 3 cheetahs, and one attacked him from behind. He fell, and in the dark, his rifle landed far away. Henry didn't know where the cheetahs were, and all their attention was on him. He tried to run back to the tent, but the cheetahs started breaking in. Then, out of nowhere, Wozie, the leopard, appeared. She confronted the cheetahs, being much bigger than them. Faced with no chance, the cheetahs fled into the night, and Wozie disappeared as well. That's all for this video. So, what are your thoughts on this great ending? Share them in the comments section. And until then, take care.